The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may it
Welcome to this edition of the Earnestly Speaking podcast. I'm your host, Ernest, EJ Christian, coming to you on a late Monday night here. I'm actually recording this podcast in the middle of the national championship game between Clemson and LSU. They're actually at halftime, so I figured use this time to check in my boy, Rey Moralde. He's been a little while since he's been on the pod, man. What's up?
What's going on? I have no idea what's going on in this college football game. I see LSU is winning, but I'm just hoping to see a bunch of laterals.
Yeah. Well, they were down 10, actually. Well, that's just according when at halftime. They were down 10, and then just like the Kansas City game against Houston on Sunday, where the game flipped. Right. Now, granted, it wasn't as extreme as that game, but they went from a 10-point deficit second quarter to being up now by 11 in halftime. And they get the ball, and they get the ball first and third quarter, so they get double up on that as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing the highlights right now where I think Joe Burrow's his name, right? Where he just threw the ball to a wide open receiver.
Yeah, who happened to be Randy Moss's son.
Oh, what? Are you serious?
Yeah, that's Daddy Moss. Yeah.
That just aged me like 30 years.
It's funny. Like, I have to remind myself that I'm older than you, that you're older than me. It's weird because I'm turning 40 in a few months, and you got me about a year and a half or so. Yeah,
well, I don't have a family, so.
Well, the family part ages me even more.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So technically, you're probably 55 years old already because you have a family. Well, I'm here, just middling around
60.
being single. So.
I feel like 60. Every night I come from work, I take the kids, I put them to bed, and by the time they're in bed, I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm going to sleep.
Right.
See you in the morning. I'm retired. So, obviously, basketball blogger, podcaster, which I have to ask, obviously it's been a while. The podcast, Rey-Rey Is Fundamental. What's up? When do you come back?
It's been a while. I initially had a few dates going on for the return of the podcast, but I'm not satisfied with what I haven't gotten yet for guests. So I'm gonna hold off on that a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But it'll be back. Believe me, it'll be back.
I remember you did go away for a little while, about a year. You came back, was on fire, and then you stopped again for a year.
Yeah, I've had personal problems, as I'm sure some people have known that I've had real anxiety, and I went to the hospital. There's a lot of things going on, and but right now I'm getting back into the groove of writing, which is pretty much I don't want to say first love, but that's how I got into the business in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna roll with that. It's pretty cool that I'm getting some good feedback off of the Nola Pass once again, and hopefully as I keep going with this role, the podcast will be back. I have a few guests in mind. Hopefully I can get them within the next month or so. Mm-hmm. But yeah, feeling a little better and better as time goes on, and I'm glad to be on your podcast once again.
That's good though. That's at least you keep me your feet wet somehow, especially with writing. It's funny. I tell folks all the time about writing. I enjoy doing radio and podcasting and whatnot, and even videos and stuff like that. But to me, writing is the most difficult thing to do. But to me, it's the most satisfying medium of the bunch. If you know what I mean. To me, I feel like when I write a good blog or a good article, that I feel more satisfied because that's the one place where you can't bullshit yourself with writing because it's just you. It's you, which you're, obviously you're typing it, so it's you and your computer or you and your phone if you're blogging on your phone, and your brain, and that's it. There's no, editing, your audio or maybe writing to me is the most intimate and the most, and that's why I always call it the most satisfying medium of the bunch.
Yeah, and it's so therapeutical too.
Yeah, it is.
And plus, I've bandied about with I've done True Proof, I've done Forum Blue and Gold, I've done all these writing mediums, but I like doing this for myself because I feel I know people say that writers have to be edited once in your life or whatever, but you mentioned about how you can't BS, and to me it's if you edit me, then you're taking away part of my voice, which is why I like doing this for myself instead of like going on Slam and then I write this piece and then they edit it multiple times, I'm just kind of like, well, now my original voice is gone. So I'm pretty happy doing this for myself, and hopefully I'll keep going on a roll for the next few years or so.
Yeah. I can sort of relate to some degree with that one. With again, like running, and I myself, like you have in the past, written for other, pretty decent, popular blogs and stuff for maybe SB Nation or other ones of that nature, and look, and I get the business, and it's funny, the models change. The model continues to change for our very eyes. Like now, it's like
it has.
A lot of these companies are going towards only video, and I get it, but I feel like writing still has a place in this world. Like I still feel like writing still matters, and people still open their phones and read first before they go to audio. So
it will always have a place. It will, because like we've been reading and writing forever, and I don't think it's going to go away at all. It will always have a place, and words can make you imagine, words can make you think. Instead of just like watching where it seems so mindless sometimes, right?
Right.
So that's what I think.
Well, guys, of course, you can check his writing at thenolookpass.com for his NBA NBA dailies and whatnot, and power rankings. Still you call it stupid power rankings. I love it. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, because it's like they're always so team. They concentrate on teams so much, and it's like, dude. Like, what about what's going on in the NBA? Like, someone getting dunked on somebody, or, James Harden missing a dunk that changed the game, right? Like, why can't we just talk about those things for a little bit, right?
No, of course.
That's what it is.
And I love your style, because like, yours is an original. Like, it's not coming from, like, this super serious, like, point of view. It's, let's have fun with this. Let's really, I can bring you the news and what happened last night in the NBA, but come from a different perspective.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun too, and I want to say something really quick because, like, people say that the NBA ratings are down because people always want to talk about free agency and what's going to happen in the next few years. I try to bring the current content of what's going on, right? It's not news, but I'm letting you know what's going on right now. Say, hey, you know what? The Jazz are hot. You should check them out. Oh, hey, the Warriors won 4 straight. Well, they've lost 8 straight since, but you know what I mean? Like, I try to know what's going on. Not just Lakers, Clippers, whatever, because that's where I am, that's where I'm from. But I want to let you know, hey, Devontae Graham's doing really good. No one's watching him, right? Hey, what about the Heat? Which I know you've
we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I gotta
we'll get
there. Things to talk about.
We'll get there, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm letting you know, hey, guess what? The Heat are really, really good. Like, they seem to be championship legit. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, that's what I try to bring, and hopefully people can carry something from that.
Although the last 72 hours hasn't been too kind for the Heat. They lost 2 games in New York, Brooklyn, and the Knicks, of course, Friday and Sunday. But it's okay. It is what it is.
They're still second in the East, so.
yeah. Oh, I mean, we can go there real quick. The Heat, real quick. I mean, I gave you some shit. It was
right.
And jokingly, obviously, I'm Heat fanboy, yes, and that, and. You had your predictions out, and you had the Heat not even making it to 500. If I'm not mistaken, you had 38-44 or 39-43, something to that nature.
It's lower than that. It's 34 wins. I have a 34 when I checked it out. Like, wait a minute, it was that low. But I know. Like Las Vegas had him at like the low 40s, right, or at the highest mid 40s, basically. And I thought, hey, this is my disappointing team. I'll put them at 34 wins because one has to be disappointing, right?
Right.
Right? So that's where I put them at. And, of course, I'm at a Houston Take.
Well, it's funny because I remember reading your piece, and I was like, I got to give him shit. I got to give him shit here because like this is we ain't doing this. Because here it is, you're doing this, and I'm here on social media, throughout the offseason saying, declaring the Heat to be a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference, and Jimmy Butler would be in the MVP conversation, and everybody giving me shit saying, what the hell are you smoking again? I'll admit to this, Ray. I was bringing back cocky Heat fan from the Big 3 years just because I wanted to see what I could get out of that. And, that was my whole thing. I mean, they look good. I mean, granted, like as I said, they lost 2 games in a row, with to the Nets and to the Knicks in New York. Oh, for New York, I call that. But overall, number 2 in the Eastern Conference, third best record in the NBA. I mean, as a Heat fan, I'm ecstatic with what they're doing.
See, what I missed out on is that I forget how much this was a perfect fit for Jimmy Butler, because Butler is known for his legendary work ethic, and he's super serious when it comes to his basketball. He's really disciplined. And that's what the Heat are. You know, people talk about Heat culture, and I know you talk about it too.
All the time.
But they're supposed to be super disciplined. Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra. They're going to make you work. And Jimmy Butler loves to work. And he's got his guys under him doing the same thing. So that's the main thing I forgot about when I previewed the Heat. That's the main thing I forgot about them. And it's just being a perfect fit for them, and that's why they're in such a hot start right now.
Yeah, and the thing is really, you know, obviously Butler is doing what he does, but the real reason the Heat are where they're at now is because of the, you know, the ascension of, you know, of course, Bam Adebayo now is a star.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Tyler Herro, the rookie, has played phenomenal. Duncan Robinson, the three-point specialist now, who out of nowhere. Kendrick Nunn, who the hell is that guy? Yeah, he's doing what he's doing now. A lot of no-names, guys that weren't even on the radar are doing some big things. You know, I remember they traded Hassan Whiteside, which I love, by the way, for the record. You know, and just to see this team do what they do as a fan, it's truly amazing. Now, I obviously have questions. You know, this 2-game losing streak to the Nets and the Nets and the Knicks. You know, is what they're doing sustainable? I still have questions there. But when you have great coaching, Eric Spoelstra, and, you know, Pat Riley at top, and, you know, just a structure involved and whatnot, I have no doubt they'll be. I'll say it again. My top 3, prediction in the East is looks like it's gonna hold up. I mean, it looks like it, barring a big turn of events in the next couple months. But yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah, but the overall East basically has all these questions too. Like, can Boston go on with this role right now? Is Toronto, are they just having I don't want to say beginner's luck because they're the champions last year, but can they do this with Pascal Siakam as the number 1 guy? Is Indiana going to be better than Oladipo when he comes back?
Right.
What about the Sixers, Embiid and Simmons? Because we're talking about their fit right now. Milwaukee, of course, can they win in the playoffs, which is obviously the biggest question with them. But every team in the East has questions, so we'll see who comes out on top. It's really, I think it's pretty exciting, honestly. I can't speak for everyone else out there, but I'm excited about what comes out of there.
Yeah, look at the Eastern Conference quick though too. Like, obviously you look at the top, Milwaukee, Giannis, probably gonna be MVP again. Mm-hmm. I mean, and deservedly so, assuming things finish the way they do. You know, but after Milwaukee, you know, you have Boston, Miami. You know, I mean, Indiana's playing some good ball. I mean, Philly's, you know, like where are you on the Sixers? Because I can't put my finger on that team. Like that's a finals roster. That's a team to be in the finals this year, and yet I feel like there's something that just doesn't fit with that team. I don't get it. What is it?
Maybe there's too much change quickly, probably, because I know Horford's still trying to find his way through. I know Josh Richardson won Player of the Week, but he was also having questions on where he fit on the team, right? Who's going to finish for them? Is Tobias Harris their closer, or is it Joel Embiid? And obviously, we've talked about the fit between Simmons and Embiid. They don't fit, but neither did Wade and LeBron supposedly, right? And they won 2 titles. So, the thing is, like last year, if Kawhi Leonard didn't make that incredible four bounces on his shot on Game 7 last year, we'd probably be talking finals with them too. So I don't know. It's tough. I just think it's a brawl in the East in the playoffs when we get there in April. So I have no idea. They could be a little bit away for the finals.
I do think the Boston Celtics, you know, all they've done, because I again, you got to commend what they've done, because obviously losing Kyrie Irving. Look, Kemba Walker is a really good player. He's not Kyrie individually. He's maybe 80% of Kyrie, but he's a better fit because of the, you know, obviously the chemistry and whatnot. He's not as, I guess, headstrong and not as much. I want to say knucklehead, but he's not as much as a hindrance to the chemistry of the team like Kyrie was, and that's why you see Boston play the way they play. But I still feel like the Celtics have one more move to make.
Yeah, they lost Al Horford, and when it comes to Boston, they probably want like a big guy that can just bruise everybody, right? Cancer is not that guy, I don't think. Like, he rebounds, but he's not a great defender.
Oh, so horrific.
Yeah. So they probably need one big guy that can just beat up everybody. But as you mentioned, like Kemba Walker, I mean, they went from Isaiah Thomas to Kyrie Irving to Kemba Walker. That's not really a bad exchange there, right? That's pretty good. Actually.
They got the better Isaiah. They got the best Isaiah ever. You know, when he was top 5 in the MVP race.
Yeah.
2 years ago. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's gonna be such a fight in the East, and Milwaukee is not head and shoulders as above the East as many people think. I don't think so.
Yeah, I do think
again,
you know they remind me of. To be honest with you, you may agree with this or not. We'll see. They remind me of the Cavs teams with LeBron the first time, the first 7 years. You know, Giannis being LeBron, of course, and then the guys. I do think the players on the Milwaukee is much better than what LeBron had in his first 7 years in Cleveland. But I you know, and I want to believe in the Bucks to win it all, to at least win the East. But I feel like I'm not saying there's a move to be made, but I'm just wondering if what he has enough to overcome the Lakers, the Clippers. Hell, I'll throw the Rockets in there just because it's James Harden. Could that supporting cast? Let me ask you: do you think that supporting cast could overcome the Clippers or the Lakers in the finals?
See, I don't know that either, because I remember, like, I forgot who wrote this really good piece on SB Nation about Chris Middleton, where he's saying like he's the perfect second player for Milwaukee, and he has come through in the playoffs last year. But the problem is that is he enough, right? Is he enough to support Giannis, who sometimes has a hard time when he bullies through everybody?
Yeah,
he shoots badly in the playoffs, right? Is Chris Middleton enough? Probably not, but I think they need a third fail-safe scorer, and I'm not sure who's that going to be for Milwaukee.
Well, and that's the thing. And not only that, what position would they need at a point? Would they need a center? That's the thing. I keep going back to. You're really good, and you might be in the finals, but there's something you're missing. Whereas with Philadelphia, they have the players. It's just that the chemistry is what bothers me with that situation.
You know, I look at Milwaukee, and it's like I know they relied on George Hill so much last year in the playoffs, and some of the season too. And I'm not sure if he can be that third guy because, first of all, he's like 33, 34 years old now, and I'm not sure if his play can be much more of an impact than, say, you know, a third guy like a Chris Bosh would be, right, back in Miami. So I think they need some. They needed someone more impactful. You're right. I just don't know what it's going to be.
Right. Your Lakers. Well, see, you are a fan, even though you don't necessarily get biased in that one in your work. They are streaking. They've gone streaking again. You remember they had that little 3-game losing streak for a little while. They obviously that came with a lot of time. LeBron missed the game and AD missed the game, but they're streaking again now. I obviously the big elephant in the room is this for the Lakers. You know, obviously they're really when LeBron and AD are healthy. Obviously they're tough to beat. You got two of the top three. I'll say it. Two of the top three players in the league, not top five, top three. Okay, but I still worry about two things. That obviously LeBron's age. Granted he's fresh this year because of having a long offseason, first time probably his rookie year. And, of course, AD's health. And I still think their roster, as much as they have decent names on there, like Danny Green's of the world and, KCP and whatnot, I still think there's a move to be made for this team before I can say they are really the favorites to win the title. Because I think, and we saw this during Christmas time, I still, gun to my head, will take the Clippers roster, which is much deeper the Lakers. The Clippers have very prioritized, load management, this kind of stealth mode. And they're only a few games back of the Lakers as a result of that. And I like what they're doing overall, saving their legs and whatnot. And that's my fear of the Lakers, is that they're so over-reliant on LeBron and Antonio Davis, Anthony Davis, the Pacers, Anthony Davis, that I think I don't want to be that guy, but I have that fear that it may catch them in April or May.
I get it. I think the Clippers will win the title, first of all.
You did?
Because I do think, I agree with you that they have much more depth than the Lakers do. The elephant in the room for the Lakers is that they need another playmaker. And while Rondo's been doing better the last 2 games, not sure if you can rely on him in the playoffs at this point of his career, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it still seems like he's assist hunting at times. His shot's better, but can you rely on that in the playoffs? That's why they're kind of looking at Darren Collison a little bit,
mm-hmm.
because there's rumors that he'll come out of retirement soon, and he could be a nice backup point guard for, starting point guard LeBron James for the Lakers.
Right.
So they need a playmaker, basically. Someone that can, quote unquote, make everybody better. One that can feed them, and then when need be, he can make his own play. And Darren Collison could fit that. But they're so overloaded right now on guards, I don't know if they're going to make that move.
Who's your MVP right now so far?
Giannis. I mean, that's not even a question. I did pick Harden last year because I was so amazed by his offense last season, and I'm even more amazed this year. But Giannis is doing more this year than last year with less time, and that's amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fewer minutes, and he's averaging more points, averaging more boards, and he's pretty much carrying the Bucks. And we talked about being worried about his supporting cast. Right now, it's not a worry, but once playoffs come, we'll see what happens.
How many teams can you see right now, based on what you see right now, honestly winning a championship? Like, how many teams can you see right now that in June, you can say to yourself, okay, I can see this team winning a championship this year, or this team not winning a championship or this team? How many teams can you say that about this year so far?
I'd say 8.
Oh, wow, 8.
That seems like a lot. That seems like a lot, right? I'll go Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, Lakers, Nuggets, Rockets, Clippers, and Jazz. That seems like a lot. I know people don't trust Denver because they're.
I'm with you. I sort of agree with you to some degree. I'm gonna say all 8. Like, obviously Denver. Obviously, they're everybody's sexy pick every year. They win 55-plus games a year, but can they get the job done when it counts? But if they get a break or two, of course. See, this is the thing with this year is so great and not getting enough love right now, is that when the Golden State Warriors, lost Kevin Durant, and they lost Klay Thompson, then they lost Steph Curry at the start of the year, what happened was it took the story from, okay, well, this team's going to win all again, doesn't matter what happens, to now, holy crap, we got a chance. And, yeah, you can say, oh, well, the Lakers and LeBron, but again, there's a lot, even the teams that you believe to be the favorites, they all have question marks, and serious ones. So I agree with you.
Yeah. Like, look at the Clippers. I think they're going to be fine, but people are talking right now about how are they really that good because they've lost some crucial games. But all things aside, they're still 27-13. They're still really good.
And that's the funny thing. It's stealth mode.
And Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have only played 18 games, and the Clippers are 14-4 with those two on the court. So, and they haven't had that much time together yet. But when they do, they're gonna be deadly, man.
No, I agree with you. No, I heard a rumor. Yeah, I heard a rumor actually a couple days ago. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard on social media that the league is considering not allowing players from losing teams to make the All-Star game. Is this true?
No, I don't think so. But I do know there's some unwritten rule that this has gone on for years now, where if you're on a losing team, you're probably going to make the All-Star team, which I get for its merit. I really get that because, like, well, you're not an All-Star, you're not helping the team win. And I totally get that thinking. But if you have guys like Trae Young who have overwhelming stats like 28 and 8, like, why not let them in? Like, they're doing everything possible to make that team a respectable franchise, or at least a respectable NBA team. As it is, everything should be contextual, right? Because people are just like, oh, well, this is not a losing team, 10 team. But, we've seen many players make the All-Star team and they're on losing teams. Kevin Love for the Wolves, he wasn't on a losing team. Chris Kaman for the Clippers made the All-Star team. So
I remember that.
you know,
I remember that.
yeah. So everything's contextual.
Well, only that, but also the All-Star game and making the All-Star team, in my opinion, is it's an individual honor, not a team honor. I mean,
Yeah.
I get the idea of, okay, well, your team stinks this year, this and that, should make the All-Star team. But I disagree with that. I think that it's still an individual honor. And I just don't like the idea of stripping that away from a player who may be playing hard as the team came over the hump.
Exactly. But I do get the rationale of like, well, the Bucks are doing really good. Like, we should reward a second player because, I mean, Giannis can't be the only reason why they're doing well, right? Like, that's why they rewarded Chris Middleton last year.
Right.
Right. Same thing with the Warriors in years past where they had 4 All-Stars. Same thing with the Pistons when they had 4 All-Stars. The Lakers had 4 All-Stars at once too. The Hawks. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, the Blazers Hawks had 4 All-Stars as well. So you got to reward teams that are doing really, really well.
Right.
But at the same time, you can't ignore players who are trying so hard to keep their NBA team respectable. You got to recognize them too. And as it is, every All-Star team has its snubs. Can't keep everyone happy. But, you know, for the most part, the NBA team, the NBA All-Star team voting, they get it right, usually.
Right. All right, let's talk to pro wrestling real quick. I mean, you and I definitely big pro wrestling guys. You enjoyed AEW, right?
I did.
Okay. Give me your pros and cons so far. I mean, they've been on TV now since October. Obviously, they've done really well in the ratings war against NXT. I think right now it's 10-3, AEW.
Yeah.
What are your pros and cons? Because I've started to, and let me tell you now, for the record, I love AEW. I watch that is of all the shows. NXT being the other one. AEW is part number one when it comes to like watchability every week. I make sure I watch that first or anything else. But give me your positives and negatives of AEW so far since it's been on air for a year.
It's easy for AEW. It's the women's division. They only get one segment or one match. And right now, the Nightmare Collective is not really doing it for me. I'm waiting for something to happen here, but that's their main storyline at the moment. And I guess that's some progress for the women's division because at least they have a storyline. But early on, like, all they get is like one match, and they're usually, and sometimes they're the ones that get the most noise. Like that Rio Nyla Rose match in the first episode, they got the most noise, right? Mm-hmm. So that they need to do something with that because the women's division is really deep. Last time I saw the AEW roster page, they have 16 women signed. You gotta use them, man. You gotta use them. So hopefully they'll do more in the next few weeks. There is progress. I've seen progress, but that's the main thing right now for AEW is the women's division.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not feeling the Nightmare Collective thing at all. Like I even made a point on social media on Twitter arguing that, and somebody tweeted back at me told me that basically in their opinion they're using that angle to put over people. I'm like, well, if that's the case, then they need to find something else. I mean, to me, it's just, how do you destroy a title match like you did on the last episode? It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, if Brandy Rhodes is doing the booking for the women, then she needs to either, have somebody help her with it or stop doing it because whatever she's doing is not working. I don't like it. Like, and look, you can complain about Rio not being on TV enough, and and some of the wrestlers like Britt Baker is green and whatnot. I get all that, but what happened on Wednesday last week was an internal problem. That was a bad booking show, bad book show. Well, whatever reason they did what he did, it just wasn't. It didn't work, and the whole angle is just, I find the angle uninteresting. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. They brought a lot of women there. I get that. It's like, hey, look, they got TV time now, yay! But they can do much, much better.
What about the positives of AEW? What do you like about it so far?
They're building stars. They're not household names as of the moment, but man, they made Darby Allin like a star in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Kind of party is looking great. The Inner Circle, they're making stars out of Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz.
Mm-hmm.
MJF is probably the best heel in American Men's
He's the man,
right now.
dude. He is the reason I watch AEW every week. Him and, of course, Moxley and Jericho. But, yeah, MJF's my favorite guy on the whole roster.
And Moxley looks like he had a rebirth because he was like spinning his wheels in WWE for the last few years or so, even before he got injured. And now look at him, like he looks like a badass instead of like saying supposedly comedy crap on WWE and giving himself an injection on live TV. Like, dude, he looks so much more of a star in AEW. He really does.
I can argue, and I said this on my other wrestling podcast, I can argue that I watched Moxley, especially in the last month or so. Like, obviously, it's not nowhere close to the impact back then. But when I look at Moxley, I get Stone Cold Steve Austin vibes.
Yeah,
I
can see that.
He gets a pop. He's a bit of a tweener. He's his own man. Just the whole attitude. And it reminds me of Stone Cold's push in 97 going to 98.
I mean, we saw that Inner Circle tease, right, where he said he was going to join the Inner Circle.
That sounds great.
Like we knew what was going to happen. We're not dumb, but they did give us a little bit of doubt, which is what you're supposed to do, right? Like maybe they're going to do it after all, right?
Yeah.
And then it is unpredictable, but at the same time, it was really well executed that we had such a great time with that segment. Like it was fantastic.
Oh, I loved it. Even though last week's show was average at best, people hated it. I know my co-host on the wrestling podcast hated it. I thought it was average at best, but I thought that was the one part of the show that really made last week's show even worth watching, was that whole build up and then turn down Jericho in the Inner Circle and whatnot. And now you have this whole, next 6 weeks, 6-7 weeks coming up between now and the next pay-per-view. Obviously it's not official yet, but we all assume that Revolution, February 29th, is going to be Jericho and Moxley for the title. I mean, that's something I'm pretty sure that's the direction we're going to go in. You have this 6-7 week build-up now to use between Moxley and the Inner Circle.
See, we watched wrestling for so long that we can predict stories, right?
Yeah.
But all we ask them to do is just do it well, execute it well. I don't mind it being predictable as long as it's being told really well. Instead of what's going on in Raw and SmackDown where, like, hardly anything makes sense, which is why it's so hard to watch those shows right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really do enjoy. But overall, the AEW, I do enjoy the product though. Like I said, you said the women's division obviously is an issue. A couple of things that they can fix, but overall, I think the booking is decent for the most part. So on there,
yeah.
Now you're really more than anything else fired up by NXT. This is your baby. Mm-hmm. Every time we talk wrestling on text, you are an NXT honk. Okay.
I love NXT.
Explain to the folks here on this podcast, why is NXT the best promotion out there?
First of all, their stories make sense, right? And they tell it really well. And for some reason, which is weird, because most people come through the NXT system, what you're seeing now in Raw and SmackDown, like Kevin Owens and Becky Lynch, they all come through the NXT system. But it seems like they get more freedom to tell their stories in the ring more than WWE. And, it makes for much better matches instead of, like, what you're not allowed to do in WWE, where I'll tell you a story, and I hope he doesn't kill me and he doesn't, like, listen to this podcast. Well, he can listen, but whatever. But T.J. Perkins is a personal friend of mine. He used to wrestle for 205 Live, WWE, won the Cruiserweight tournament a few years ago for WWE, right?
Right.
So he gets told before his wrestling matches, he gets told what he cannot do in the ring. And it's also the same thing where they told a wrestler named Gran Metalik, which is, his nickname is the King of the Ropes. And he was not allowed to use the ropes in some of his matches. And he's the King of the Ropes!
Wow.
What? So they are so much more stringent in WWE matches, main roster matches, where in NXT you seem to have all this creative freedom you have going on whether it's on the mic or in the ring, which is why it's so much more compelling. And they make sense. Instead of with the main roster storylines and matches where you have this Lana Lashley wedding, which makes no sense.
You hate it. You hate, don't you? You hate it, huh?
What's that?
You hate the Lana Rusev Lashley triangle.
It's like I love awful wrestling angles, but I can't even like this one. I can't even like pretend this is awesome bad.
I won't lie to you. I don't hate it because I mean I get it. You Raw is 3 hours long. You have to fill in time.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. But I can't bring myself to like it. Like I love awesome bad angles in the past. Like I think Katie Vick's hilarious now. And to those that don't know Katie Vick, that involves some necrophilia. But I find that hilarious now. You know.
Yeah.
But I can't bring myself to like the Lana Lashley angle.
Right. Is Keith Lee the next guy? You think? Is Keith Lee gonna be the next guy, or?
He should be. He should be.
That's great.
Like I don't know why they didn't pull the trigger right now. Like he should be challenging for the world title against Adam Cole, but they're giving it to Tommaso Ciampa, I believe. So I get why they're going to Ciampa, but I think Keith Lee's so over right now. I think he has benefited the most on the switch to the USA for NXT. He really has, because they were going nowhere with him on the network.
Well, the good thing about what's going on now with NXT now and the success of that now, this is obviously the biggest year since they existed. 2019 was the biggest year since they existed. Here's the good thing now going forward, is that now we know that NXT is now the third brand. It's no longer a developmental league. Okay? So it's likely that, because a lot of the fear that I'm sure you had and people at NXT fans had is that, Adam Cole's great, but as soon as he goes to the main roster, he's lost in the shuffle. Same with Keith Lee, same with Ciampa. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I think these guys are going to stay put.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they get paid well, right? Like, I think they're gonna get bumped up. They're gonna get a bump in pay soon, or if it hasn't already happened.
Yeah.
But and they can stay there as long as they get paid well, because I know main roster money is a lot of money. So hopefully they get a big bump on pay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be a little. I mean, there's no confirmation on this, obviously. I don't know if we ever will get that, but. There's definitely going to be, I'm sure, and a better schedule too. You at least you're not traveling on the road all the time. You know where you're at. You have full sale every week. I don't see them going on the road for a while. I'll be honest with you. If they go on the road, I think I still think we're a year away from them doing other shows on the road.
I mean, Tommaso Ciampa, I remember watching one of his interviews where they asked him to go to Raw and SmackDown and refused because he says that why do 200 shows a year when I can do like 30 to 50 on NXT, which is so much easier on the box.
And you're getting the same exposure too. And you're getting more exposure because you're on TV also as well too. Yeah,
AEW as well. Yeah, they only do weekly TV and they only do pay-per-views, and that's it. Like that's such a good job for wrestlers. Like they don't work that much. They can work wherever they want to, and they get big money.
I'm surprised that.
So good for them.
I'm surprised the WWE still, and look, it's obviously economically great for them, revenue-wise to do this. But I'm so surprised that, remember I was gone for 17 years and I came back to watch wrestling last summer. That they still do house shows.
Well, it's the system, I guess. It's also publicity where they get to do shows in smaller towns. So that's fine, and they get to practice their matches that they'll probably do on TV. So I get it, but it is taxing on the body. And I think the ones that should do the house show should be the preliminary guys who are not on TV yet, instead of like the guys who are on TV. Like Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, they shouldn't do house shows. It's already so hard on their body. They can make appearances, sure, like do autograph signings or whatever. But I don't think they should wrestle on house shows.
I agree with you 100%. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Do you still manage to watch Raw SmackDown every week? Or are you like just giving up on it? Or are you still watching it? Or
no, I do next day watches. Like for example, like today I'm probably gonna watch the Lakers and the college football game. I have no idea what's going on right now. But I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch Raw probably the next night because I still want to keep up. And the thing is, like, I've told it to several people. It's like, why do you still watch Raw? Why if you complain about it all the time. Like, why do you still watch it? Because to me, it's like rooting for your sports team. Like, you just want them to do well.
Yeah.
You know, and at some point they're gonna do well, right? Like we've seen it before. Like we saw them on the Night Wars. Like Raw was awful in '95-ish, then they got better in 96,
Oh my
97.
God.
So
Isaac Yankum.
yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
Bad. No, it's funny, like, because, and I, you know, on my other podcast, I was discussing this last night. That's my topic, actually. It was about balancing the schedule. Because right now, if you just watch, you know, what's on TV between AEW, NXT, and then Raw and SmackDown, that's 9 hours of wrestling a week. Okay?
It is.
You have to navigate,
It
which is
is.
tough as it is. Now, what I've done is that I started to prioritize what do I prioritize more than the other. So AEW is number one on my list along NXT. So Wednesday night's always my priority.
Yeah.
I watch Raw the next night, typically when I have a chance to. Like, so it's on right now as we're recording this, but I'm gonna watch it tomorrow most likely. Now I can't do 3 hours. That's just too much. Unless it's pay-per-view, I can't do it. So on Hulu, I have Hulu. So on Hulu, they have the hour-and-a-half version of it. So you actually watch, I guess, 3/4 of the show as opposed to the entire show. So I get through that doing it that way. What I've started doing also too recently, and it's funny, I feel like I'm cheating here, is I don't know if you noticed this, but the WWE on Fox have started recently putting up this Raw in 3 minutes or SmackDown in 3 minutes, basically giving you an entire recap in around 3 minutes of the entire show. So what I've done is that every time I miss a week of Raw, miss a week of SmackDown, rather than trying to get back and watching it again, I just cut my losses. But what I do is I watch the recap instead.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can do that because I if I see a match that interests me, like I want to watch the entire thing no matter what.
Right.
That's just how I am. But yeah, Raw and SmackDown are next day watches for me usually. Obviously, SmackDown's on the weekend, so that works out perfectly.
Yeah.
But I already watch, like, you know, people say, don't you watch TV? I'm like, yeah, I watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of NBA and NFL and wrestling. So I'm on the TV a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I obviously prioritize the NBA. And Raw and SmackDown are getting lower and lower because this other's getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
But AEW and NXT, definitely. I watch AEW live because I want to give them the rating, and I DVR NXT even if the show's on the network the next day because, you know, I just want to watch it as soon as I can.
Amen to that.
So yeah, those are two shows that I want to watch, AEW and NXT.
Last pro wrestling thing here. Do you listen to their podcast, WB podcast, After the Bell, New Day's shows?
I've listened to New Day once. I listened to Corey Graves a couple times. I hear Alexa Bliss is going to come their own podcast soon too.
Who?
But Alexa Bliss.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But man, everyone has wrestling podcasts now. It's nuts. I used to have one like years ago too with our good friend John Kenton for the John Report. Like everyone has wrestling podcasts. Everyone has podcasts.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought that me, of all people, not watching Kurt Wrestling for a long time, is now back watching it, and I have a podcast now with my two buddies down here. It's insane.
So what happened? Why the interest again?
Huh?
Why the interest again?
Me? Honestly?
Yeah.
I credit AEW.
okay.
Because when I found out AEW was existed like last spring, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Jericho's doing this to Chris Jericho? Really? Oh, okay. So what happened was, okay, so they did the first pay-per-view in May last year, which I got to watch a little bit of. And I think what's happened too also, and I have to credit AEW, but I also have to credit Conrad Thompson too, because, you know, while I wasn't watching the current events and stuff, I still own the network because I won the library.
Yeah.
And I would listen to the podcasts that focus on the old stuff. But every so often you hear stuff about newer things going on. So I would still know what's going on to some degree, even if in anything the news of the world, you know, all the rumors and stuff like that. So eventually what happens is that, you know, NBA ends, the finals end in the middle of June. I'm like, you know what? Let me give Raw and SmackDown a chance here. And I just sort of slowly got into it again just over the summer because I had the time to do it. Number one, and I started to enjoy it. And it was funny because last summer the product was getting panned left and right from everywhere else.
Yeah.
I think what it was for me though is that because I came in with fresh eyes, I understood that the characters are a little bit corny, not as interesting as they were in the 90s and 80s, but the talent is by far the best out there ever been in this business. It's not even close.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what got me. That's what sucked me in.
Yeah, they're so much more athletic now. I do think, and I'm not sure we talked about this, but I do think that storytelling is missing, psychology is missing for most of these guys, because all they want to do is just like, it's an athletic showcase basically for these guys, and I think it's become more and more about showing the athletic moves than storytelling and wrestling, which is why I enjoyed the Cody Dustin match so much in the Word Nothing for AEW. That was a great match.
It was a really good match. Yeah, and like I said, I enjoy for the most part most stuff is out now. NXT is kind of giving me back. I really learned to appreciate NXT. It took a while again. It took a while for NXT to get into it because of mostly because of the names. They know who was who.
Yeah.
But you hear about Adam Cole all the time. Adam Cole, and Keith Lee and Ciampa and Matt Riddle. I'm like, okay. And as I watched them, I'm like, well, these guys are great.
Yeah.
They put on a great show.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
That's why it got sucked in. It's funny. Getting back to the podcast real quick, the WWE pods. That also took me a while to get into. When I heard Corey Graves doing his own podcast, like, okay, whatever, dude. It's probably kayfabe and all that. No, it's not kayfabe at all. It's actually as is. It's actually real and honest. I thought, and that's why I didn't listen to it for a little while. Then I say, you know what? Because people kept telling me, you need to listen to the podcast. It's really good. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll give it a chance. But I thought it was kayfabe. I thought it was part of what they were selling from an audio point of view. But it wasn't. It actually was real.
Yeah.
So, hey, I gotta give him credit for that. Last thing before we go, there was an announcement last year about Saved by the Bell. I'm a big fan from yesteryear. The reunion, the reboot, whatever. It's gonna happen apparently, man. It's gonna happen. They already started filming. I don't know if they're filming already, but they already started putting it together. In fact, this weekend we found out that Mark Paul Gosselaar, aka Zach Morris, will be a part of this whole thing now. Unbelievable. Rey Moralde, are you actually looking forward to the Saved by the Bell reboot?
I have mixed feelings about it. It's like, of course you want to find out what happened to all these guys, even though we've seen it over the years. They had the college years, one college year, and Zach and Kelly got married, and there was a new class as well. So we've seen them over the years, and now they're full-grown adults, and hopefully Zach Morris is not a terrible person anymore. But, I mean, yes and no. It's like, cool, okay, I guess we'll get to see what happened, how they are now, but this is not going to be the Saved by the Bell that we knew in the late 80s, early 90s, because Saved by the Bell, by the title, I mean, it's school. It's junior high school. It's about, showing us the good experience of junior high and high school, which is obviously differing from what we went through, but that's what it was to us, and it gives us that nostalgia that we're older, when we're older now, about how it was back in junior high, the good times of high school, stuff like that,
Right.
And this is not going to give it to us. There's no way. Like, they're in their 40s now. I don't know what they're supposed to give us here. I mean, what? Is someone going to be a principal and they're going to run a classroom, or what's going on here?
Well, only that. Well, supposedly the show is actually centered around Jesse and Slater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are they going to do?
That's the funny thing.
Right? Like I hear something about, I hear, Jesse's mayor or something like that, or whatever it is. Yeah. Either way, if it's something like that, it's like, this is not the Saved by the Bell that we were used to back in the day. Just like after 90210 ended high school, this is not the 90210 that we knew anymore.
Did you watch 90210?
What's that?
Did you watch 90210?
Well, a little bit of the reboot, but what I'm saying is that after the high school years were done, when Brenda left in 90210, the original 90210, it's not the Naruto that we knew anymore.
Right.
Right.
I never actually watched it.
Life.
I never watched the entire thing from start to finish. The old version, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I watched like bits and pieces for it, but never watched the entire thing. I really wanted to.
Yeah, I watched the first 4 seasons, and the 5th season was like they're out of high school, and at that point it's kind of like, well, this is not what it was about anymore. It became more like Melrose Place, which I love Melrose Place, but I watched Melrose Place for its salaciousness, and 90210 was not like that, and it became like that. So, yeah, it just won't be the same. I'll probably check it out at some point. I won't watch it when it comes on live, but I'll check it out at some point.
I don't know. I'm really curious because they got Mark Progostar on the project now too. They're supposed to working on Kelly, Tiffany Ann Thiessen, to get on there as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I doubt there'll be no Lisa. I doubt obviously no Screech. Screech is no longer doesn't even talk to the people anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to keep my expectations low for this.
Right.
I'm just gonna do that.
Did you watch the Saved by the Bell Lifetime movie? I watched that.
I never did. I meant to. I never did actually. I've been meaning to watch that. Didn't we discuss on your show years ago about Saved by the Bell as a whole? No, maybe not. Maybe something else. But
no, we did discuss Saved by the Bell with my friend G. Stilio. We discussed Saved by the Bell,
okay.
but not the Lifetime movie. But not Lifetime. Yeah.
I need to see it though.
Yeah. But the Lifetime movie was terrible.
Was it
based? Was
it based on his book?
Yeah, and it's already been out there that Screech's book was completely fabricated.
Mm-hmm.
So it just has to be terrible, which is fine, But yeah, it's not what Saved by the Bell was supposed to be.
I am curious what he's doing these days. Let me Google him real quick. See what he's doing these days. Dustin Diamond. Some news here. Dustin Diamond. He's 43 years old. Okay, hold on. News on Dustin Diamond. 2 more stars to be looked into the show. Not Screech though. Yeah. Yeah, he really shat on the on the cast.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I mean, that's his problem, I guess. I don't have much to say about that.
I'll be honest. I'm scared to watch it. I'm scared. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm scared to watch it.
Well, I don't blame you, honestly. Like, how many times has 90210 got a reboot? Like what? Twice already? I don't even know.
It got 2 reboots? Really?
Well, okay, they did the main cast right, like last year or whatever, but it's more like a parody in a way. Mm-hmm. And then there was that 90210 reboot with other people, like in the late 2000s, I believe.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I watched the one in the late 2000s. That was okay for a little bit, but I didn't watch it all the way through. So.
Oh wow. Well.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see. I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna be out this fall. I imagine, based on the hype. And that'll be pretty interesting to see what happens. But anyway, Rey Moralde, anything you want to plug before you
go? No, other than I wish I could fix my TV that I'm working on right now because
what a mess.
I told you about this before the podcast started, but my TV sound went out, and I only had this TV for 2 years, which replaced the TV that where the TV display stopped working. So I'm really good at televisions, apparently.
Jeez.
But it's such a first world problem because I have 2 TVs side by side. So yeah, I know I have another TV here, but you
still gaming?
I worked for its setup. Yeah, it was my gaming TV that got messed up.
Okay.
But the sports TV's still okay.
Nice.
I worked for its setup, man.
Yeah.
So don't give me that. It's the first world problem thing.
Wait. So you mean to tell me that if this TV was working, you have 3 TVs?
What's that?
If this TV was actually working, you have 3 TVs?
Well, I'm using a 32-inch for my desktop monitor.
Okay.
So technically, yeah, I have 3. But I'm using 2 42-inch TVs side by side, one for gaming, one for sports.
You're so privileged. So. You're so privileged.
I am. I am so white right now.
Wow. You own that white privilege, son.
Totally, man. Totally.
Oh, man. So where can everybody find you on Twitter, your work, and all that?
Find me on Twitter at the No Look Pass, where I make terrible racial jokes. I'm just kidding. Find my NBA website, thenolookpass.com. It's been around for over 11 years now.
That's amazing. That's incredible, dude. That's incredible.
Although admittedly I've been on and off of it because I've been working on other sites as well, such as Lakers Nation and True Hoop and Slam and all these other things that I worked on in the past. But I never let go to No Look Pass. That's my baby, and I'll probably have it till I die. So yeah,
there you go. And we hopefully, fingers crossed, we hear you back on the podcast very soon. I miss it. I miss the podcast, dude. I miss coming on there too, especially. A lot of fun.
Yeah, well, it will come back. It will come back.
That's good.
But let me get rid of my jitters and my personal problems, and then I'll be back as soon as you can. So,
of course.
Yeah.
Take care of you first, as we said before. Take care of you first, and everything else will follow. All right, Ray. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thanks, DJ.
All right, buddy. Be good.